Hello everyone, this is part 10 of What If Naruto Meets the Nine Tails Early, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
It was the third night that Naruto and Hinata began their training. Hinata had called it a night, but Naruto was determined to progress further in his wind manipulation training. Jiraiya said that it would take him years, yet he wasn't going to let that happen while Sasuke continued to make stronger lightning and fire jutsu. The past few days had yielded little progress, and despite it being that late, he would push through until he had this exercise down. "Hey brat, let me ask you something," said Tsunade, who had been observing him for the past few hours. "Oh, it's you Granny," said Naruto. A vein bulged out of Tsunade's head, obviously irritated at Naruto's comment. "What do you want?" he said coldly. "Why do you do this to yourself? I'm a doctor and I can tell you're already on the verge of exhaustion," said Tsunade. "In a world like this, why do you keep doing what you're doing? It's pointless, unless you want to die. Because, unlike you, I actually care about the leaf. I wouldn't even think about betraying it to some snake freak," said Naruto. "And if you're wondering why I'm training, it's because I need to become stronger to protect my friends from danger. I don't know about you, but I'll never give up." Yep, he was definitely the ghosts of her past coming back to haunt her in physical form. It was the morning of the 6th day from the time that Tsunade and Orochimaru met, and the two genin were making some progress on the waterfall. For it only being just over 2 weeks, you could say that they had actually made a lot of progress. The two who were once considered failures had gotten this far in chakra nature manipulation training in just a few weeks, although they had been using shadow clones, so the true amount of experience actually totaled about a month for Hinata, and almost a year for Naruto. Naruto couldn't believe he never noticed this ability of the shadow clones before. This was just what he needed to eventually be able to work on those super cool jutsus that he had been having dreams about. "And Naruto, I don't have much more eye in me for today," said Hinata, on her knees and panting. She had to dispel one of her clones for a small boost of chakra. It was only late morning, but she had never fully. "Come on, you can do this. Just one more try, Hinata," said Naruto as his stomach growled. He just smiled. "And then we'll go get lunch." Hinata smiled at the blonde's enthusiasm. Alright, let's just take this one slow though," she said. "It's no use if we just rush right through it." Naruto had to agree with her on this. He made another clone to take the place of the clone that Hinata had to dispel. The 5 Narutos and 2 Hinatas took a few minutes to gather their chakra and released it on the waterfall. This time, progress was definitely visible as they both noticed gaps in the waterfall where they were channeling chakra. They had begun to learn how to release their chakra to cut the waterfall, now it was only a matter of time before they were able to cut it themselves. Tonight was the night before when Tsunade was expected to give Orochimaru his answer. Over the past week, thoughts had been echoing throughout her head. Thoughts about the possibility of seeing her loved ones again. Thoughts about helping Orochimaru. Thoughts about coming back to the village. Thoughts about Naruto. There had to have been another reason Jiraiya brought him along other than for training. He resembled them, her late younger brother and her lover, from the days when she still believed. Jiraiya had to have brought him along on purpose. Speaking of Jiraiya, he wanted to meet up again tonight to grab a quick drink. "Glad you could join me tonight, Tsunade," said Jiraiya flatteringly. Tsunade remained silent but acknowledged him nonetheless, thoughts still swirling in her mind. The two had a nice drink, but Jiraiya didn't notice that Tsunade had slipped something into his drink. After a few hours, Jiraiya got up and left the bar. "No matter what happens tomorrow, there's no way you will just be able to simply return to those days," he said to her as he left. Jiraiya knew. He must have weaseled it out of Shizune somehow. Tsunade took one last look at the sleeping Naruto. He was exhausted and so was Hinata from the training. Hinata was now finally getting the chance to rest her tired chakra coils. This training would help them grow, but that still didn't excuse the fact that she was rather low on chakra at the present moment. Naruto had put in some more extra training after Hinata had called it a day, cramming as many clones as he could fit on the log and creating even more to practice on the leaf exercise. He was determined to get the waterfall exercise the next day. Shizune was becoming increasingly irritated at her master. Tomorrow, please don't go, she shouted. However, Tsunade was silent. Why won't you say anything? Please answer my request, Tsunade-sama. If you say you're going, what will you do? Asked Tsunade. This caused Shizune to pause for a little and think. I will stop you, no matter the cost, declared Shizune. Shizune, think who you are talking to, said Tsunade with a flare of rage in his eyes. She walked up to Shizune and gave her a good solid punch in the stomach, knocking her unconscious. Tsunade left the room. Her decision has been made. Hey, shouted Naruto to Shizune, who was slowly waking up after being unconscious for a few hours. Naruto. She thought about what her master had said about Naruto not waking up for at least another 2 days. Finally, she snapped back to consciousness. Oh no. Today? What day is it? Shizune began panicking. It's Monday, why? Said Naruto. Shizune was both relieved and surprised. She was relieved by the fact that today was the day of the exchange and that there still might be time to stop her master. At the same time, she was surprised that Naruto was still standing, good as new and fully energized. Huh, what is it? He asked. Naruto, stay in the house, she shouted as she darted out the window, only to see Jiraiya crawling back towards the window. He was not feeling good. Wait, Shizune, said Jiraiya, trying to do his best to stay up. Damn that Tsunade, she put drugs in my drink last night. I can't even release chakra and my whole body stings. I can barely hold my chopsticks. Jiraiya had made out of the bar last night, but the drugs kicked in and he fell asleep, waking up in some dark alley, headfirst in a trash can. Like I said, humans are just sad beings, said Kurama. Naruto wanted to argue, but the pervy sage was not helping his argument. UHG, in her fallen state, she's still a medical specialist. She's about the only one who can create a tasteless, odorless drug and use it against ninja, explained a weak Jiraiya. But, even though I was drunk, to get me like that, Shizune, what you guys talked to Orochimaru about, it's about time you tell us. Shizune began panicking again and told him to come with her. She explained what Orochimaru had offered Tsunade on the way there. Damn it, the answer has to be no, said Jiraiya as they rushed to stop Tsunade. She's still unable to let those two go and move on. Based on the situation, I may actually have to kill her. Master Jiraiya, what is the problem? Why are we in a hurry? Asked Hinata. Naruto also wanted to know the answer as to what that old bag of bones was up to. Jiraiya explained that she was asked to heal Orochimaru's arms, restoring his power, and that today was the day of the decision. He had managed to get Shizune to talk one night after taking Tsunade's apprentice out to the bar a few nights ago. Tsunade was standing in the same alley facing Orochimaru. So the answer is, asked the snake Sannin. Tsunade looked down, in deep thought. I will heal your arms, in exchange you keep your hands off Konoha, said Tsunade. Hey, alright, laughed Orochimaru. He lifted his wounded arms towards Tsunade and she generated a green energy between her hands. However, a kunai forced them to jump apart. Orochimaru and Tsunade looked up to see that Kabuto had been the one to intervene. What is this, to come this far and betray me? Asked Orochimaru. Tsunade. Kabuto's attack had sent a clear message to Orochimaru, that the energy that she generated was not meant to heal him, but to kill him. How could you come to an answer like this, Tsunade, and try to kill me? Tsunade stared down her former teammate with a look of killing intent. However, Orochimaru was left unfazed from this. He looked at Tsunade with his typical evil and sadistic look. I trust you, Kabuto, from the bottom of my heart. Your loyalty and ability to see Tsunade's intended attack. Yes, we are both from the medical corps, so it wasn't too difficult to see that her chakra was full of intent to kill, explained Kabuto. Tsunade, I honestly intended to revive those two and I even agreed to spare the leaf, said Orochimaru. Orochimaru, I knew that you keeping your hands off the leaf was a lie. I knew that, but those two people, even just one more time, I wanted to see them. Even for just one more time, I wanted to touch them, to see their smiling faces, explained Tsunade as she started to tear up. I'll really be able to see Dan and Nawagi again. The moment I felt that on my skin, I felt like a fool. Those two's faces, from just remembering them, for me to become this blind, I loved them, because I truly loved them. I wanted to see them and hug them. But I couldn't, because of that brat. The dream that I had tried to forget has been reborn. The dream that those two bet their lives on, having those dreams was also my wish. All things that have shape eventually crumble, you've said that. However, only this feeling will not decay. By this point, two waterfalls were running down Tsunde's face, one originating from each eye. So the deal is off, then we will be forced to do it, said Orochimaru as Tsunade snapped back to the current situation. With rage taking over her emotions, Tsunade leapt at Orochimaru and Kabuto. As she slammed her foot into the ground, it crumbled away, leaving a large crater in the place where the two traitors once stood. Kabuto and Orochimaru had just barely dodged that attack. Now that I think about it, I've never fought against you before, said Orochimaru as Tsunade charged towards them. You bastards! I'll kill all of you now! Shouted Tsunade. Kabuto and Orochimaru just barely dodged her attack. They knew that if Tsunade could land one blow on them, it could be enough to kill them. Orochimaru-sama, this place is a bit too crowded for this type of fight, said Kabuto. I think it is wise if we were to move elsewhere. Also, I noticed there is something up with Tsunade's servant. It is only a matter of time before he comes and joins the battle. He? Who is he? Asked Orochimaru, curiously. He's one of you, the legendary Sannin. Jiraiya, said Kabuto as the two of them retreated with Tsunade in close pursuit. Orochimaru was getting a little laugh out of this. This would be a fun reunion, despite Kabuto fearing for his life at the thought of two Sannin. Shortly after, Jiraiya, Shizune, Naruto, and Hinata arrived on scene and noticed the carnage. This relieved everyone as they realized that Tsunade must have decided not to go through with the exchange and was instead trying to kill Orochimaru. They weren't sure of which way they went, but thanks to Hinata's Byakugan, they were easily able to pick up on the trail of craters in the ground and smashed things, obviously Tsunade's doing. Tsunade, Orochimaru, and Kabuto came to a halt. Their battle was ready to begin. Running low on energy from running for his life, Kabuto popped a soldier pill into his mouth to replenish his chakra. He made a few hand seals and activated his chakra scalpels. He disappeared underground and reappeared just beneath Tsunade, hoping to tag her with his scalpels. If the scalpels hit, they would deal internal damage, almost like the Hyuga's gentle fist. Tsunade dodged the first attack, but Kabuto quickly rebounded and attacked again, tagging her right arm and thigh, cutting the muscles in them. Tsunade examined her injuries, quickly realizing that Kabuto had cut her muscles, and she realized that he was trained in the medical arts as well. I've cut your biceps and abdomen muscles. You won't be able to use your strength now, claimed Kabuto. Chakra scalpel. So why didn't you aim for my arteries? Asked Tsunade. Certainly with this chakra scalpel, I could have severed all your muscles and blood vessels, but maintaining the accuracy and power required for that in combat is extremely difficult, explained Kabuto. Well, since I'm aiming for your neck, it shouldn't be a problem now. Kabuto charged at Tsunade and hit her neck, just above the collarbone. He managed to cut her rokkanken, the muscles surrounding her respiratory area, making it difficult for her to breathe. Kabuto dropped his guard, thinking that he had Tsunade in a position where he didn't have to worry. However, Tsunade chopped the back of his neck, sending an electrical current through his body. Tsunade wasn't an ordinary medical ninja, and Kabuto was beginning to realize that. Tsunade stood up and began to heal herself, while Kabuto quickly realized that Tsunade had messed up the electrical signals in his body with that last blow. When he tried to move his right leg, his left thumb would move. What is this? It's not my muscles, but my nerves, asked a startled Kabuto. Seems like you've realized. Yes, it is your nerves. I changed my chakra into electricity, and sent the electric waves into your nervous system, explained Tsunade. Kabuto was quickly realizing that this was going to be a difficult battle. Much to Tsunade's surprise, Kabuto was able to regain control of his nervous system rather quickly, and he charged at her with a kunai ready. However, before he could get in range, Jiraiya, Naruto, Shizune, and Hinata appeared before him in a puff of smoke. Long time no see, Jiraiya, hissed Orochimaru. Those wild eyes of yours. You haven't changed a bit, Orochimaru, said Jiraiya. What is Kabuto doing here? Shouted Naruto, seeing Kabuto before them. Hello, Naruto, said Kabuto. Jiraiya realized that the two of them recognized each other. Wanting to kill Kabuto, Tsunade barged through them and ran towards Kabuto. Before she could land her blow, blood went flying onto her and she froze in fear. Kabuto had cut himself to use Tsunade's own fear to immobilize her. As she stood in front of him, he just continued to spill blood from his wrist onto her. Seeing his opening, Kabuto punched Tsunade, sending her back towards Naruto and Jiraiya. What's going on? Why is Kabuto fighting Tsunade? Asked a surprised Naruto. Naruto, look at his headband. He is Orochimaru's subordinate, explained Jiraiya. HMPH, that's right, I'm a spy for the Sound Village, admitted Kabuto. And based on the data on you I collected from the Chunin exams, unlike Sasuke, you have no talent as a shinobi. This got Naruto's blood boiling. Shizune ran over to her master and began to wipe the blood off of her, hoping to stop the shaking and cowering. Naruto sent a glare towards Kabuto. Hey, even if you do make a scary face like that, you are nothing more than an out-of-place genin. You have been relying on that thing inside of you, but with the 3 Sannin here, you are nothing. You are like a small bug, if you try something, I will kill you. Stated Kabuto. Hey Kit, you want me to teach this insolent brat a lesson? Asked Kurama, slightly insulted by Kabuto's comments. Sorry, but I want to smack this bastard around myself, said Naruto, refusing Kurama's help. Besides, he doesn't know of us and I don't want Orochimaru thinking that what happened in the forest was something more than a mistake. Naruto charged at Kabuto, making a few shadow clones in the process. Jiraiya tried to stop him, but the drug was still having an effect on his system. However, thankfully Kabuto's right arm was in no shape to fight with because of that wound. Naruto had all 4 clones attack at once, but he was blinded when Kabuto splashed some blood at him. Naruto flew back, but Shizune managed to catch him, spitting some of her poisoned needles at him in the process. Kabuto barely had time to react and blocked them with his headband. Kabuto popped a blood-stopping pill, showing Shizune that he was a medical ninja too as he returned to Orochimaru's side. Shizune, handle 4 eyes. I'll take care of Orochimaru, said Jiraiya. But before that, I would like to ask you something about my body. I'm sorry, but the effects will last for a few more hours, explained Shizune. There is nothing I can do about it. Tsunade, just worry about healing yourself, said Jiraiya. Hey, what about me? Shouted Naruto, not being able to get in on the action. You and Hinata protect Tsunade, ordered Jiraiya. Naruto objected, wanting to get in on the action, but a battle with all 3 Sannin involved was a fight Hinata did not necessarily want to get in the middle of. Naruto, Orochimaru is one of the 3 Sannin and the one who killed the Sandaime, only I can take him, said Jiraiya, bending down to Naruto. The only way I can see you matching up even close against him is by using the Kyuubi and I would rather not reveal that secret to Orochimaru. He may have seen it in the forest, but for now, let's just hope he saw that as a fluke and that the Kyuubi actually trying to break free. Simultaneously, Jiraiya and Kabuto, acting for Orochimaru, went through the motions for their summoning jutsu. After the smoke cleared, Orochimaru and Kabuto each stood atop a giant snake. Jiraiya, well. Sup, said Gamakichi, appearing as Jiraiya's summons. What? Shouted both Naruto and Jiraiya. Jiraiya is still affected by the drug. He can't control chakra well, thought Shizune. Haha, your stupidity still hasn't been cured. I'll attack first, declared Orochimaru. I don't think there exists anyone with as little talent as you, Jiraiya. It looks like Tsunade's been hurt by something. Orochimaru-sama. That technique requires a sacrifice. What if Tsunade was thinking ahead and gave him a drug to prepare him as a sacrifice, examined Kabuto. Orochimaru got a laugh out of that. Naruto, biting his finger and going through the hand seals for the summoning jutsu. Summoning jutsu. The Kyuubi boy from the exam. Maybe I should have stuck around to kill him after all, said Orochimaru to Kabuto. I've never dealt with a power like that of the Kyuubi. Poof, Naruto's summoning went through and he was facing Gamatatsu, Gamakichi's younger brother. Gamatatsu was a small yellow toad, about the same size as Gamakichi. And it looks like I won't have to, since he don't have any talent as a ninja, laughed Orochimaru. Really, is that the best you can seriously do? Questioned Kurama. Naruto didn't say anything out of frustration, only confirming Kurama's comment. Oh, Gamatatsu, what are you doing here? Asked Gamakichi. Oh, big brother, This is my first time being summoned, but I'll try my hardest, said Gamatotsu. Idiot. You'll just end up a snack if you don't run and hide, said Gamakichi. In their confusion, the snakes launched themselves at the group of leaf ninja. Their attack was barely dodged and Kabuto had moved towards Tsunade and Shizune. As Jiraiya turned to see Orochimaru, he made a few hand seals. Doton, swamp of the underworld. Below then snake, a pit of deep mud formed and the snake began to sink. However, because of Jiraiya's ailment, the swamp was not powerful enough to completely sink the snake. Shizune launched a few needles at Kabuto, who dodged them with ease. He activated his chakra scalpel, but Shizune unleashed poison gas from her mouth. When the cloud cleared, Kabuto was nowhere to be seen. By surprise, Kabuto emerged from the ground and tagged Shizune in the ankles, severing her Achilles tendons. Naruto and Hinata were busy recovering from the snake's attack. They had managed to avoid the worst, but it still didn't mean that they had completely avoided the attack. Making his way to Tsunade, Kabuto threw Shizune aside as a drop of blood landed on Tsunade, causing her to shudder some more. She looked around to see Shizune lying on the ground in pain and Naruto and Hinata struggling to get up after their near collision with the tail of that snake. This was looking like it was going to be Nawaki and Dan all over again. Orochimaru charged at Jiraiya, extending his neck out to bite Jiraiya. Ninpu, underworld spines. Jiraiya's hair wrapped around him, covering him in a blanket of spikes. Orochimaru's head bit Jiraiya in the front of the neck, but his leg had also hit the spines as he impaled himself. Ha ha, there's that insanity of my old village, said Orochimaru. You've become a companion of those kids and for the sake of the village, you've degraded yourself to chauffeur. My talent of seeing through people is unsurpassed and those two are nothing but failures. Jiraiya smiled. That's for sure. I wouldn't need a kid like Sasuke. A boy being raised as a natural prodigy from the beginning is no fun. So you're looking for someone like yourself? Asked Orochimaru. I can't beat the Sharingan user who is heir to the Uchiha clan. Why bother with someone like Naruto who hasn't got something like that? A ninja talent that allows them to master every technique in the world, that is what his ninja heritage entails. He only needs to encounter the techniques. HMPH, that's not what ninja talent entails. You still don't understand what it takes for a shinobi to be called a ninja, smirked Jiraiya. I'll teach you one thing, the most important ninja talent is not the number of techniques one acquires. The most important thing is a spirit which never gives up. Kabuto threw a punch at Tsunade, which given her condition, would have ended it for her. Protection of the 8 trigrams, called out Hinata as she activated her defense and repelled Kabuto's attack. As that defense of hers already had some wind chakra mixed into it, it began to shred Kabuto's hand until he finally backed off. Because of his quick reflexes, he was able to avoid the worst, but there was some pretty deep cuts in his hand and it was bleeding almost as much as the self-inflicted cut he made. However, he was a medic by trade and wounds like this were easy to heal. He would have been able to heal himself if it wasn't for what was behind him. Rasengan, shouted Naruto, lunging at Kabuto. Unlike Neji, Kabuto had the training and reflexes to dodge this one. Naruto regained himself and found himself next to Hinata, standing between Kabuto and Tsunade. Step aside. The two of you should just run. If you die here, your dreams will die as well, taunted Kabuto, sounding a lot like Neji from the prelims. But, if you have a dream, then you cannot run away, so you're left with only one option, die. I'm not dead yet, and you won't lay your fingers on Tsunade Barkan here, declared Naruto. Hinata's resolve strengthened as well as the two of them prepared to fight Orochimaru's lackey. Both of you should just go, said Tsunade, not wanting to see anyone else die. She had to admit that Naruto was a lot like Nawaki and that day was one day she did not want to relive. If you die, then it will all be for naught. Like I said before Granny, I'm not giving up. I will protect those important to me and if you're so important to Pervy Sage, then I'll protect you as well. After all, I'm not going to die until I become Hokage, declared Naruto. I won't back down either. Like Naruto, I won't give up. That's my Nindo, declared Hinata. Naruto smiled a little at this. Fine, then die, shouted Kabuto as he ran forward. Protection of the 8 trigrams. Rasengan. Hinata used her defense to stop Kabuto just as Naruto ran forwards with his Rasengan. Hinata's hit first, stunning Kabuto long enough for Naruto to land his attack. This sent Kabuto flying back over 20 meters and slamming into a rock. However, Kabuto stood on his feet, shocking everyone. You took that attack, how can you still be standing? Said a shocked Tsunade. Hey, I collected chakra in my abdomen before impact and started healing right away. I'm the one who saved Orochimaru. It's useless to use that attack against me, my resilience is overwhelming, smiled Kabuto. He took a step forward but collapsed to the ground. The damage done had been more than he could heal. Their combined attack was effective. Naruto and Hinata turned around to face Tsunade. After everything that she said and everything that had happened, they still came through. Naruto, behind you, shouted Hinata, catching something with her Byakugan. Orochimaru had disengaged with Jiraiya and had shot towards Naruto with his sword of Kusangai. He knew now that Brat could not be allowed to live as he would become a major problem in the future, especially with Akatsuki planning on making its move soon. By the time Hinata realized Orochimaru, it was too late as her 360 vision was limited to only about 50 meters. Orochimaru was traveling too fast and he was locked onto Naruto. Blood splattered all over the ground as the sword ripped through flesh. However, this was not Naruto's flesh. Tsunade had jumped in the way, seeing this coming before Hinata had. She took the blow through her chest, just to the left of her heart as Naruto and Hinata looked on in horror. Jiraiya was nearby, trying to pull himself out of a crater that he had made when Orochimaru slammed him in the ground just before stabbing Tsunade. Tsunade, I wasn't trying to kill you, said Orochimaru. Don't get in my way, if that brat survives, he'll cause a great deal of problems later on. No, I'll protect him, no matter what. I won't let it happen again, said a defiant Tsunade. Barkin, was all Naruto could get out. Tsunade had done a complete 180 from before. I've always been a horrible gambler, but there is something about this kid that is urging me to place my bets on him. For once, I'm sure I won't lose, declared Tsunade. These kids are the future of Konoha, something you'll never understand. Fufu, what are you babbling about? Laughed Orochimaru. Besides, being Hokage is worthless, only a fool would want it. If that's really what you want, then die like all the fools in the leaf. Orochimaru removed the sword from Tsunade's chest and slashed her from the shoulder to just below the rib cage on the opposite side of her body. Tsunade, cried Hinata and Shizune. You worthless trash, now die so that I can finish off the rest of you fools. Shouted Orochimaru as he took one more swing at her. No, I'll bet my life on these kids, said a smiling Tsunade, giving Orochimaru a defiantly strong uppercut in the process. What? Her trembling stopped, thought the snake Sannin. Indeed, Tsunade had gotten over her case of hemophobia. Orochimaru looked up to see markings covering her face, emanating from the diamond on her forehead. Why am I doing this? Said Tsunade. Because as of now, I am the Godime Hokage of Konohagakaru. Tsunade-sama overcame her hemophobia. Thought a happy Shizune. That happiness didn't last long as she saw the seal on Tsunade's forehead. Wait, Tsunade-sama. Don't release that seal, I'll heal your wounds. Tsunade Barkin, said a confused, yet now impressed Naruto. Perhaps she was Hokage material now. It was too late. Yin seal, release, shouted Tsunade as she flooded her system with a massive amount of chakra that she had been storing up. Ninpu, Genesis Rebirth. As she activated her jutsu, the wounds on her body began to close. Hey, seems like I'm not the only one developing new jutsu, said Orochimaru. Care sharing what that is? I've been gathering chakra into the seal on my forehead for quite some time now. I used the chakra to stimulate the production of various enzymes and increase cell regeneration and rapid reformation, explained Tsunade. I can reconstruct any damaged parts and organs in my body, it's not just simple healing, it's regeneration. Yes, but the number of times cells can divide is limited, meaning that using that technique shortens her own lifespan, thought Shizune. You too, I'll take it from here. Tsunade took some blood from her closing wounds and rubbed it on her arm. Orochimaru knew what was coming and jumped back to Kabuto's side, who began performing the summoning jutsu. Jiraiya was already proceeding to do the same thing. Summoning jutsu. The three Sannin shouted at the same time. All three Sannin stood atop their respective summons. Tsunade on Katsuyu, Orochimaru on Manda, and Jiraiya on Gamabunta. Hey dad, shouted Gamatotsu as everyone else was running for cover from the three giants. Manda and Orochimaru. Tsunade and Katsuyu. You planning some sort of special reunion? Jiraiya, said the Toad boss taking a smoke from his pipe. Don't crack stupid jokes when I call you for a tough job. It's about time to settle an old enmity, said Jiraiya. Now, we are going to defeat Orochimaru. Hey Orochimaru, what are you smoking? Hissed Manda. Summoning me to this lame excuse of a land, want me to eat your sorry ass. Please Manda-sama, we'll thank you generously later on, pleaded Kabuto. Who the hell do you think you're talking to? Keep your dirty gas bags shut, you stupid brat. Manda directed his insult towards Kabuto. Whoa! Exclaimed Naruto and Hinata simultaneously. They were standing behind Tsunade on top of Katsuyu. Katsuyu, take these two to Shizune, Tsunade ordered. Out of all the boss summons, Katsuyu was the tamest. She obliged and split off a part of herself to carry Naruto and Hinata to Shizune. Hold on you two. Huh, said a confused Naruto. He got his answer a second later as the split Katsuyu fell to the ground, crashing in front of Shizune and leaving Hinata wide-eyed and silently freaking out. The pair and Katsuyu landed in front of Shizune who had just finished healing her own wounds. You want me to turn you into toad jerky? Manda said to Gamabunta. Ha, funny. I've always wanted a snakeskin wallet, responded Gamabunta, reaching for his sword. Katsuyu remained quiet. Orochimaru, you've adopted an evil way that is too much. We are no longer comrades, declared Jiraiya. Comrades, don't make me laugh, laughed Orochimaru. Today is the last time we will be called Sannin together, Orochimaru, shouted Tsunade. The battle began. Katsuyu shot acid at Manda, who dodged her and wrapped Katsuyu up, squeezing her tightly. Tsunade gave the command and Katsuyu split into thousands of smaller slugs before reforming away from Manda. Gamabunta and Jiraiya charged at the snake with sword at the ready. Gamabunta lunged but Manda caught the sword with his mouth, disarming Gamabunta. Tsunade, get away, ordered Jiraiya as Tsunade and Katsuyu did so. Bunta, give me oil. Gamabunta shot out oil and Jiraiya ignited the oil, producing a massive flamethrower that engulfed Manda and Orochimaru. When the flames settled, all that remained was a charred snake skin. Manda had escaped. From underground, Manda shot out at Jiraiya and Gamabunta. However, Tsunade had grabbed hold of Gamabunta's sword while in the air and drove it down on top of the snake, piercing him through the roof of the mouth. Unfortunately, that blow did not kill the giant snake. Whoa, this battle is on a whole nother level. Is this Hokage level combat? Thought Naruto, becoming even more excited about becoming Hokage one day. Orochimaru lashed out his tongue, catching Tsunade around the neck. She reeled him in and delivered a bone-shattering punch to his face. Manda disappeared, cursing Orochimaru and threatening to eat him the next time he appeared. Tsunade, even if you do not cooperate, there is still one option left, there is still one way to revive my arms, claimed Orochimaru. It was then that Jiraiya and Tsunade saw it. Another face underneath Orochimaru's. I will surely destroy the leaf, we will meet again, Jiraiya, Tsunade. With that, Orochimaru sunk into the ground while Kabuto disappeared in a puff of smoke. That face. Somehow he must have taken over another body, said a shocked and disgusted Jiraiya. No wonder he didn't feel like himself when we met. Tsunade jumped down from the sword, feeling the side effects of using her jutsu. Her body was starting to revert back to her 50-year-old self. Don't worry, after a bit of rest, I'll be able to revert to my younger self, explained Tsunade. Let's rest in the village a few days before heading home. The following evening, the five of them were sitting in the same bar where they had initially met. So this old hag is going to be Hokage? Asked Naruto to Jiraiya. What are you irritated with, Naruto? Asked Jiraiya. Well, if you compare her with the third, she's rough, selfish, loose with money, easily pissed off, and stupid, said Naruto. Are you sure she can do it? I'm worried. Besides, isn't she a 50-year-old hag? She's faking her youth. Someone like the Hokage shouldn't deceive everyone like that. Let's take this outside brat, shouted Tsunade. Not again, said Jiraiya as everyone's sweat dropped. They found themselves outside in the same alley as before. Like last time, Tsunade held up one finger, saying that was all she needed and called Naruto a brat, again. Stop calling me brat, damn it, shouted Naruto. I'll be Hokage someday. Naruto ran towards Tsunade, only for this fight to repeat the last. Tsunade flicked off his headband. One finger, again. He thought as he braced himself for Tsunade's monstrous strength. The pain he had been expecting never came. Instead, he felt something warm and soft press against his forehead. He opened his eyes to see Tsunade giving him a soft kiss on his forehead. He was a little confused as he gave him a light tap on the chest. Become a good man, and a respectable Hokage, brat, Tsunade said, smiling at him. Naruto looked back at her, putting his hands behind his head and giving her a big smile. Roger, Barkan, said Naruto. Jiraiya braced for the Armageddon, but it never came. Shizune had also been watching the whole affair and came up next to everyone. Oh wait, now that you mention it, I almost forgot. Hinata, we have to get that waterfall exercise down today. The five of them found themselves at Naruto and Hinata's training ground. The two genin proceeded to make as many clones as they could, which was 2 for Hinata, and Naruto filled up the rest of the log. All right, Naruto shouted as the two of them gathered their chakra. On 3, 1, 2, 3. With that, Naruto and Hinata poured their wind chakra into the waterfall, successfully cutting it. Naruto cheered, as he once again wrapped his arms around Hinata, causing her to blush but thankfully not faint. Now I see why you brought the Hyuga girl along, whispered Tsunade to Jiraiya. What? Laughed Jiraiya, trying to get off the subject. I only brought her along because her father asked me. Oh, don't get started on that. I remember the time when you hooked Hiashi up with that nice lady. Speaking of which, Hinata looks a lot like her, said Tsunade, now playing with the sweating Jiraiya. I hope you weren't hoping to get anything for your books out of this, were you? What? Of course not, gulped Jiraiya, taking a few steps back and knocking his pack into the water. Hey pervy sage. Watch where you're going, my money's in there, shouted Naruto, retrieving Jiraiya's pack. He pulled out the box that Naruto had put his money in from a week ago, revealing the 100,000 ryo that he had won from the slot machine. Tsunade looked at the wad of cash wide-eyed. Hey Naruto, where did you get all that money? She asked nicely, obviously trying to get some for gambling later that evening. Naruto just smiled. I won it. Wait, you won it. How? She questioned. I don't know. I just put a coin into a machine, pulled a lever and all that money came out, said a still clueless Naruto. Jiraiya explained to Tsunade that the kid had managed to hit the jackpot on the slots the other day and got roughly 100,000 ryo out of it. Tsunade was stunned at the kid's luck. Alright brat, after dinner you and I are going to the gambling hall and I'm teaching you how to play poker, declared Tsunade. Tsunade-sama, shouted Shizune. She was obviously against this. Poker? Naruto thought back to one of the conversations he had with Kurama, the one about gambling souls. Ah, I don't want to gamble my soul. Tsunade and Shizune looked at him with a confused expression on their faces. Jiraiya explained to them that apparently the Kyuubi told Naruto about a tailed beast poker night where they wager their vessels' souls, and Tsunade just laughed at Naruto's pale expression. Don't worry about what the Kyuubi told you brat, this should be all you need. Tsunade pulled out 30,000 ryo out of the box. Tsunade-sama, shouted Shizune, but her master just ignored her. Naruto was confused, more by how Tsunade knew about the Kyuubi but also about the idea of gambling the money with someone who constantly lost. Don't worry, I've known about fuzzball as long as the pervert here. Although as Hokage, I'm going to need to see that contract Jiraiya mentioned, she said. UHG. Why do I have that feeling that everyone's going to start calling me fuzzball now? Damn it, swore Kurama, putting his head down with his paws on top of his head. Outside the cage in Naruto's mind, the blonde Jinchuriki couldn't stop laughing at the demon's misfortune. Naruto ran through the seals and summoned the contract. Tsunade took a look over it and was genuinely surprised that the Kyuubi had actually agreed to this and that the two had practically befriended each other. Tsunade repeated what Jiraiya told him about using the Kyuubi power and that there were people even within the village that would try to exploit it for themselves. However, like Jiraiya and Kakashi before, the name Madara Uchiha worried her greatly. Over dinner, Tsunade explained to him the general rules of poker. Afterwards, she dragged him to the hall and sat him down at a table. Most of the other men there were drooling. Not only had the legendary sucker shown up, but she also brought along with her some fresh blood. Well, what do we have here? Asked one of the men. Are you here to play, kid? That's Naruto Uzumaki. And yes, I'm here to play, declared Naruto. He sat down and exchanged the money Tsunade had given him for chips. The first game was 5-card draw. As the cards were dealt, one of the men got a happy smile on his face. To the other players, this was a sure sign that he had a good hand. Placing his first bet, the oblivious Naruto was the only one who called. "What'll you have?" announced the dealer. "One," said the man with the good hand. The dealer handed him his card and his spirits jumped. That was just the card he needed. "And for you," the dealer said, turning to Naruto. Two, I guess," said Naruto, handing the dealer 2 of his cards. The man was trying to contain his laughter. Today was his lucky day. He had a great hand and an oblivious kid with money flowing out the ears. He hated to do it, but the kid would have to learn sooner or later. "All right, kid, I'll bet 30,000 inches," said the man, pushing in enough that would force Naruto to go all in. Naruto called as everyone else at the table pleaded with him not to. It was too late. The man put down his cards, revealing a full house of 5s and 9s. Even Tsunade was feeling sorry for bringing Naruto into the game as he was. "Does a flush beat that?" asked Naruto. "Hey, sorry kid, if a flush is all you have, then I win," declared the man. In disappointment, Naruto put his 5 cards on the table and put his head down in defeat. Everyone nearly face-planted in their seats. "What?" screamed the man in disbelief at Naruto's cards. Naruto picked his head up to see what everyone was so shocked about, not having a clue. Tsunade just walked over to him and put her hand on his shoulder. "You won, brat," she said, pointing at his cards. "I did, but that man said his cards beat a flush," said Naruto. "Well, your flush is special and as such it beats his full house," explained Tsunade. She pointed to his cards, a 10 of hearts, Jack of hearts, Queen of hearts, King of hearts, and Ace of hearts. Naruto had managed to draw a royal flush on his very first hand in poker and doubled the money that he had come in with. "Damn, this kid really is luckier than the Nanabe," thought Kurama, cracking up at the look on the other man's face. Definitely bringing him to the next tailed beast poker night. After about an hour of playing, Naruto began to grow bored and left the table. Before leaving the casino, Tsunade surveyed the damage. Naruto had completely taken away 3 men's money and left one of them in such a bad state of shock and disbelief that not even the QB would be able to snap him out of it. Naruto left with almost 100,000 ryo, more than tripling the money he came into the casino with. Returning back to the hotel, Jiraiya was prepared to beat Tsunade's head in for taking Naruto to the casino. He was left dumbfounded when Naruto walked in with a case full of money. The first thing they were doing when they got back to Konoha was putting the 200,000 ryo that Naruto had won over the course of his trip in the bank, mainly to keep Tsunade away from it. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.